welcome back. Previously, we have learned about how to prepare or form a mathematical model with regard to an LPP setup, where you will be given an application level situation or a business situation in which you need to prepare or form mathematical models, and on the basis of that, you need to solve the problem. So let us continue with that. Next case. A home resourceful decorator manufactures two types of lamp, A and B. Both lamps go through two technicians. First is a cutter and second is a finisher. Lamp A requires 2 hours of the cutter's time and 1 hour of finisher's time. Lamp B requires 1 hour of cutter time and 2 hours of finisher's time. The cutter has 104 hours and finisher has 76 hours of available time each month. Profit on the lamp A is rupees 6 and on one B lamp is 11. Formulate a mathematical model. So in LPP you need not have to solve the problem to the last moment. You need to find out or prepare a mathematical model. Mathematical model means you have to prepare certain equation formats like that. So in order to prepare or present in a question details in an equation format, you need to have an idea about what are the contents of a mathematical model of an LPP. We have discussed one type of question in the last session. First and the foremost is you need to identify the objective function. Objective function means whether the question deals with maximization of profit or minimization of cost. In almost all the cases, you will be dealing with a question where you have to identify the maximization of profit concept. So first of all, you need to find the objective function. Usually it will be maximization of profit. After that, on the basis of the details specified in the question, you need to prepare or form two equations, two linear equations on the basis of the details given. Details may be situation with regard to the subject under the study. For example, as per this question, a manufacturer who manufactured two types of lamp, A and B, and in order to produce a product to a usable condition means here our product is lamp A and B. In order to use the lamp A and B by a customer, the material has to go through two separate persons. That is, one is a cutter. Cutter may be the person who cut the design of the lamp, and finisher may be the one who finishes the touching work like that. Anyway, two persons are there or two specialists are there. Or after the specialization works or after the work done by these two persons, the product can be sold. That is the concept. So the constraints in this case are the time required for the product to go through the cutter and the finisher. So this is how you need to identify the constraints. So on the basis of those details given in the question, you have to formulate the mathematical model. That is the concept. So first of all, let us identify the various aspects given in the question. So let the decorator of manufacturer X1 and X2 lamps of types A and B. So we are assuming in the beginning itself, instead of using variable A and B, we can use X1 and X2. Usually in mathematical model, they will be using like that. X subscript 1, that is 1 is written down, and X subscript 2, that means 2 is written down. So X1 and X2 are the names of the lamp A and B. So from now on we will be using X1 and X2 instead of A and B. Next one, you need to set the objective function. Objective means here the objective was to maximization of profit. So the question itself given profit. Details of the profit or cost will be given. Here profit is given. So what is the profit? It is mentioned that profit on the lamb A is 6. Lamb A is assumed as x1. So profit on lamb A is 6 into x1, you will get 6x1. And profit on lamb B is 11. We assumed that let the lamb B be x2. So the profit on lamb B will be 11 into x2. So if I am a producer, I get profit from lamb A 6 and lamb B 11. So my total profit will be, I will add these two profit. That is a concept. So it is written as z equal to 6x1 plus 11x2. So we have prepared the objective function. Once you found out the objective function, you need to prepare or identify the constraints stated in the question, and on the basis of those constraints you need to prepare some linear equations. So before we go in directly into the constraints part, you need to identify the data given in the question. The data is regarding the work done by finisher and cutter. For colloquially we can easily say like that, but from the details given in the question it is all messed up. We can't easily identify what is the time taken by the finisher on lamb A or what is the time taken by the cutter on lamb B. For exactly identify a pinpoint factor, it is very difficult to identify directly from the question. So in such cases, it is better to write those data in the form of a table. There is no necessity regarding preparation of table. It is for your convenience. You can either follow a table, or if you are efficient in identifying the details given in the question, then you need not have to prepare a table. It is not compulsory. So in the question it is mentioned that there are two persons. One is finisher and another is cutter. There is no order regarding first the cutter has to be written or finisher has to be written. There is nothing like that. You need to prepare two constraints or two linear equations. You can either begin with the finisher case or cutter case, whatever maybe as per your discretion. In the question it is mentioned that both lambs has to go through two technicians. First is cutter, second is finisher. Either way you can write. First is finisher or second is cutter. Either way you can write. Lamb A requires A. We assume that let A be x1. 2 hours of the cutter's time. 2 hours of the cutter's time. Lamb A means lamb A is here. The details are here. Lamb A requires 2 hours of cutter's time. So let it be 2. And 1 hour of finisher's time. See, 1 hour of finisher's time. Similarly, lamb B requires 1 hour of cutter's time. Lamb B, here it is, lamb B 1 hour of cutter's time and 2 hours of finisher's time. So we have identified the time required by the two technicians on both lambs. And the last it is mentioned that the cutter has 104 hours, 104 hours. Total he is allotted 104 hours. Within that 104 hours he has to deal with lamb A and lamb B. So total time for cutter is 104. And the finisher has 76 hours available. Similarly, finisher also is provided 76 hours. Within these 76 hours he has to do his work. So we have identified the details with regard to the constraints. Now let us bring these data in the linear equation pattern, otherwise known as constraints. So first of all, let the constraints be, first one, total time of the cutter used in preparing x1 lambs of type A and x2 lambs of type B, available time is 104. That is, in the question it was said that first is the cutter, so let us begin with cutter. The total time allotted to him is 104. Within that 104 he has to deal 2 hours within of lamb A and 1 hour of lamb B likewise. So it can be written in the form of the equation 2x1. 2x1 means x1 relating to lamb A plus next one 1x2. 1x2 can be written as x2 equal to 104, and 104 means, see there is a sign here, this can be less, here it is we have used less than or equal to. Sometimes in the question we will be using greater than or equal to. That depends upon the details given in the question. In the question, it is mentioned that he is allotted only 104 hours. He has to do his work within that 104 hours. No work beyond that time will be permitted. It is not mentioned in the question, but it is implied that he has to complete his work within 104 hours. So it will be less than or equal to. This work has to be completed within 104. That is how we have put in the sign. So first constraint is over. Similarly, you have to do the same for the next technician, that is the finisher. So the total time used in preparing X1 lamps of type A and X2 lamps of type B, the available time is 76 hours. See, finisher has 1 hour on time X and finisher has 2 hours on X2 and total time allotted to him is 76. So if you go follow the same pattern we have just followed previously, you will get another set of equation, that is x1 plus 2x2 less than or equal to 76. I hope you understand the concept of x1 and how this less than or equal to sign came up. Same situation is applicable here also. So we have successfully found two constraints. So we found objective function, constraints. In the question you are asked to formulate a mathematical model. You are asked to find a model. We have already found out the models. So the decorator's problem is to find x1 and x2. These are the variables. In this question you are asked to find the model. You need not have to find the value of x1 and x2, but the value of x1 and x2 can be found out by using the set of equation where z equal to 6x1 plus 11x2, where constraints are 2x1 plus x2 less than or equal to 104, x1 plus 2x2 less than or equal to 76, and finally x1 is greater than or equal to 0 and x2 is greater than or equal to 0. Remember, this one is a permanent values we will be using in almost all the question. The rest of the equations are found out on the basis of details given in the question. And for the complete answer of this question is you need to find the value of x1 and x2. The concept of x1 and x2 will be found out later. Here right now you are asked to find the mathematical model. We will prepare how to find the value of x1 and x2 in the coming sessions. And right now this is how you have to prepare a mathematical model. It's very easy. Read the question very wisely. Identify the objective function. Extract the data given in the question and identify the constraints. Once you found the objectives and the objective function and the constraints, your answer is complete. So this is how you have to deal with an LPP problem where you are asked to formulate a mathematical model. I hope you understand the concept. If you have any queries, please let me know and try to find out the answers of the remaining questions stated in your text. Next, let us go to the next part. Graphical method of solving LPP. The linear programming problem can be solved using graphical method as well as simplex method. We will study in detail about the graphical concept. Simplex method will be dealt in your higher studies. So let us come back to the graphical method. From the name itself we can understand that computation of LPP on the basis of a graph or a graphical representation is known as graphical method of solving an LPP. And LPP involving two variables can be solved by graphical method. Remember, the graphical method is an ultimate solution, is not an ultimate solution. It is not an ultimate solution when the LPP problem consists of more than two variables. It can dealt the cases of having two variables only. Beyond that, we can't rely on a graphical method. So LPP involving two variables can be solved by graphical method. As we all know, this method is very easy to apply. Everyone can work out an LPP using a graph. So before we go further into the graphical method, you need to have some idea about the steps that has to be prepared. So there are some steps. If you didn't get an idea about the steps which we are going to discuss, don't worry, you will get a clear picture once we are dealing a real life application question. So some of the steps involved in it are: first one, you need to formulate the problem into a linear programming problem, just like the sessions or questions which we have dealt previously. Each inequality in the constraints may be written as equality. That means in the question you might be given a question like a linear equation. Sometimes a linear equation may be directly given. Anyway, for computation of a graphical method, you need to prepare linear equation. Sometimes it will be like this: 2x plus 3y. We know that it is a linear equation. But in the question it is given 2x plus 3y less than or equal to 80. So how we are going to solve that? We haven't learned about a linear equation where they are using a less than or equal to or a greater than or equal to. In the question they will give like that. So for using a graphical method to solve an LPP, whenever you come across a question like that where a linear equation, instead of an equal sign they are using less than or equal or greater than or equal, you need to remove that less than or equal or greater than or equal with a simple equal sign. That is, if you are given 2x plus 3y less than or equal to 6, you write like this: 2x plus 3y equal 6. We have seen many questions like equal 6. So convert it to that. That is the meaning of second. Each inequality in the constraints may be written as equality. That is, instead of equals greater than or equal or less than or equal, put a simple equal sign. Draw a straight line corresponding to the equations obtained in step 2. Step 2 means in this case you will get linear equations. On the basis of linear equation you will get 2 points in the graph. So connect those 2 points using a straight line. That is the meaning of step 3. Identify the feasible region. Feasible region is the area which satisfies all the constraints simultaneously. Feasible region means if there are 2 equations in a question, you will get 2 lines. So feasible region means the area within these 2 lines. Within these 2 lines means anyway these 2 lines will intersect in one point. Any point or area under those intersected point or above those intersected point, that is known as feasible region. We will discuss in detail how the feasible region is identified. Anyway, concept is this: in the question there will be 2 linear equations. On the basis of 2 linear equations you will get 2 lines in a graph. These lines will intersect in one point, and feasible region is the area under the point or above those point is known as feasible region. The under and above will be discussed later. That is known as feasible region. We are preparing a graphical method of LPP in order to identify that feasible region. That is the answer of the question. Feasible region. The vertices of the feasible region are to be located and their coordinates are to be measured. That means feasible region usually will, once you found out the feasible region, each point of the feasible region, for example, if you have got a rectangle type of feasible region, we know that there are 4 sides in a rectangle. So you need to measure the points of each individual sides. Individual sides means individual points of the rectangle. Rectangle has 4 points. You need to identify the measurement of each 4 points. For the time being, I am using a simple term as rectangle. You will not get a feasible region or the picture like a rectangle. It is almost like a rectangle. You will get a clear picture while dealing with the question. Anyway, you need to find the measurement of all these 4 points. Calculate the value of objective function z at each vertex. We will come to that part. Right now, if I am explaining that, you will not get an idea. Anyway, we are preparing this one after finding feasible region. We will be dealing with this step after finding the feasible region. Finally, the solutions is the coordinates of that vertex which optimize the objective function. Objective function means, in the previous mention I have mentioned that this step will be followed after identifying the feasible region. And what about this step? In this step we will be identifying the objective function equation. We have learned about objective function previously, z equal to 6x plus 5x, like that. So we will be using that equation and we will be in this case you will get the value of x1 and x2, and in each situation we will be substituting the value of x1 and x2 and identifying the value of that equation. And in which situation you are getting a higher value, that is considered as the objective function or the maximization function. Simply mentioning each an example for each of these steps, you will not get an idea. Let us deal with a problem case, then you will get a clear picture. So these are the major steps with regard to that. Just go through these steps, but you will get a clear idea once we have dealt an application level question. So after dealing with our application question, we will come back to these steps. So let us deal with another case with regard to that. Graphs of equation. So before we go directly to an application question where we are directly identifying all those steps, first of all you need to have some basics with regard to the graphical representation of LPP. So let us learn some basic steps. Draw lines corresponding to the equations. That is the first one. In the question you will be given some equations or in the form of some variable numeric setup. You have to represent each of these in the form of graph. Graph means lines. How you are going to identify each of these variables in the form of a line or a graph. So these are some basic variables you will come across during an equation or a question. x0 will be given, y0 will be given, x equal to 3, y equal to 3, 3x plus 4y equal to 12. These are some of the examples you might come across while dealing a graphical method of solving LPP. So what is the meaning of each of these variables? So let us deal with that. First one, x equal to 0. That was the first one. X equal to 0 means you need to draw y-axis. X equal to 0 means you need to draw a y-axis. So this is the y-axis. I hope you all know what is meant by y-axis, what is meant by x-axis. And similarly, y equal to 0 means you need to draw x-axis. So y is the point in the xy axis, so y is you need to draw x-axis. That is the meaning. See, here numbers can be given according to your discretion, that is based on the question or the details given in the question. See, here the numbers are 2, 3, 3, 4, like that. So it will be 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, that. There is no rule regarding how to scale the graph. That depends upon the details given in the question. On the basis of that, you have to logically put the numbers in the graph. So here you can see that x equal to 0. X equal to 0 means y-axis is drawn when the x is 0. That is the meaning of x equal to 0. They won't mention that you need to draw a y-axis. Instead of that, they will be giving x equal to 0. That means you need to draw y-axis. So we have drawn a y-axis. Similarly, y equal to 0 means you have to draw x-axis. See, you have drawn x-axis because y equal to 0. That is the meaning of x equal to 0 and y equal to 0. And remember, in almost all the graphical methods, x equal to 0 and y equal to 0, they are given at the beginning, or it is implied that it is there. So that is the meaning of x equal to 0 and y equal to 0. Next one, x equal to 3. X equal to 3 means you need to find a point in x-axis that represents 3. So this is the x-axis. You can see that 3 is there. That means you need to draw a line from the point 3. that line will be a parallel line to the y-axis. That is the meaning. So x equal to 3 means draw a line from point 3. It will be a line parallel to the y-axis. So similarly, then y equal to 2. What is the meaning of y equal to 2? You need to find a point 2 in y. Draw a straight line from point 2. That will be a line parallel to x-axis. See, that is the meaning of any variable followed by a number. And finally, next one, 3x plus 4y equal to 12. 3x plus 4y means there are two variables in this equation. So that the meaning is you have to find 2 points. We need to find at least 2 points on the line 3x plus 4y equal to 3x plus 4y equal to 12 means it is a line in a graph. So in order to find the line, you need to find the values of x and y, because you need to find a point in y-axis and a point in x-axis to find out or to try find out 2 points or to draw a line. So how we are going to solve 3x plus 4y equal to 12? For that, we will assume that let the x equal to 0. When x equal to 0, x equal to 0 means 3x is 0. So 4y equal to 12, we can solve that y equal to 3. I hope you know how to solve that. I am not going further into that because it is a very simple max. So when x equal to 0, you will get y equal to 3. Because when x equal to 0, 3 into x 0 means 0. So remaining is 4y equal to 12. Y equal to 12 by 4, you will get 3. So when x equal to 0, y is 3. So when x equal to 0, y is 3 is you need to mark a point 3 in y-axis. So let us draw a point. So our first point is 0 and 3. Remember, in the brackets is the two numbers. One number followed by a comma, then another number. That means first number represents x. After the comma, the number represents y. That is how you represent a point in a graph. So 0 and 3 means x is 0, y is 3. So the point is this one. So we have got 1 point. Next one, let us assume y equal to 0. Y equal to 0 means 3x plus 4y equal to 12, where y equal to 0 means there is only 3x equal to 12. So x equal to 12 by 3, it will be 4. So when y equal to 0, x equal to 4. So it will be written as within the brackets 4 comma 0. So we can write that. So the point is 4 in x-axis. It is written as 4 comma 0 because 4 is x, value of x is 4, y is 0. This is how you represent 2 points x and y in a graph. So we have got 2 points, one on the y-axis, another on the x-axis. So next step is connect these 2 points using a line, straight line. So once you connect these 2 points, you will get a line that touching point 3 and point 4. So this is the meaning of this equation 3x plus 4y equal to 12. So this is how you have to represent the numbers or equations in a graph. So this line represents 3x plus 4y equal to 12, and this one also, and this one is represent 3x plus 4y equal to 12. So this is how you have to represent each of these variables and numbers in the form of graph. Graph means in the form of lines. So whenever a variable connected with 0 is given, you have to draw out the corresponding x-axis and y-axis. And any numbers is given, you need to draw the point or a line on that particular axis. When you come across an equation, you have to find 2 points. So this is how you have to deal with a question. And in this case, we are just understanding or analyzing how these can be represented in a graph. And one more thing, see the point, this area under these lines is known as feasible region. See 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 points in a feasible region. There may be 4 points in a feasible region. That depends upon the nature of the question. This one is known as feasible region, and there is a rule regarding which area has to be considered. This can also be a feasible region, or this can also be a feasible. That depends upon the nature of the question. We will discuss that case in the next session. So this is how you have to identify each of the variables or numbers relating to x and y and equations in a graph for solving an LPP problem. So just go through all these steps, familiarize each of these steps which we have dealt, and identify how this can be represented in the form of a graph. We will discuss about some advanced cases with regard to that in the next one. Until then, just go through it, and please let me know if you have any queries.